Shawn, we had talked last time about smart money versus dumb money, or actually started to talk about it. And I think that's what our session today, or what our segment today is going to be about.
Definitely, Joe. And we're not going to edit that at all. Well, let's just keep going.
I like keeping going.
So, smart money versus dumb money. What does that mean exactly? Some people have heard that term, but they really don't know what it means when you dive into it. They think money is money, right? I mean, that's great.
Well, that's what I've always been told. Money is money, right?
But money comes sometimes with contingencies.
Oh, contingencies. Tell me about that.
Well, think of it this way. I'm going to give you money. Maybe I give you that money and I walk away and I go, Joe, I'm going to check back with you in 3 or 5 years, see how you're doing. If you've made a ton of money, great. If you haven't made it, well, I got these other investments. It's okay. That's one scenario. Another scenario is, hey, Joe,
That sounds like smart money.
I wait till you hear the other examples. I mean, maybe there's different degrees. Maybe that's gray zone okay money. All right. Now, here's another example. I give you some money and I go, Joe, every Friday I'm going to call you for an hour and you're going to have updates for me. And I want these updates to be in this type of format, which is going to take you a few hours to do. I want this every Friday. So you're going, oh man, well, Shawn gave me money, but I'm going to have to spend 4 or 5 hours on him every week. And that cuts into my other work. And that doesn't sound too great. Now, think about even going more extreme. Joe, I give you some money. I want these updates and I'm going to micromanage what you're doing because I believe I know more about your company than you do. So I'm actually not going to give you all that money at once. I'm going to deploy it slowly, but make sure you hit these milestones. But I'm going to tell you what to do while you're moving along, and I'm going to have an opinion on everything.
That smart money, or is that dumb money? Or I guess it depends on which side of the fence you're on.
Well, I mean, think of it as you're the owner trying to build this business. Maybe you have this expertise. You've been in this field 15, 20 years. I just have money from a completely different field. I have no idea actually about this business or what's going on. But since I have money and you ask me, sometimes I think I know what's right for everything, every decision you make. And that's very difficult. And maybe I even have to call you at midnight, 2 a.m. and you have to be my therapist because my kids don't talk to me anymore, and other things because, well, I'm a smarter businessman than you.
Well, because you had the money, so that makes you the smarter businessman. Did I get that right?
Joe, you nailed that one. Good job, Joe.
Well, thank you.
Now let's talk about maybe the other side of the spectrum, which, I never said, bad money, good money, or that. It's up to you to decide. Now let's move it another direction. I give you money, but I also go, hey, Joe, I know what you're doing. I have experience in this field. What you're doing is right on. I have some ideas, and in fact, I have some contacts that could help you out with your sales channels, with vetting your, go-to-market strategy, with vetting your, product market fit or anything. I have some people from my network in this field for 15 years that could help you out. Or let's even go a little bit further. Joe, okay, I got all this experience in this field. I have these buddies that have experience in the field. Joe, I'm actually going to go out to my network and find other people to co-invest with me to give you more money. Maybe you don't need it today, but I know you're going to need it a year from now. And while you're working to build this business, I'm going to go out on your behalf and raise capital for you or get people lined up for you for a year from now when you need their check. I'm going to help you out all I can, even though I don't have to, but I want to see you succeed, because when you succeed, my money succeeds, and we all grow together. Now, that's another extreme. Or you even get to the point where it's like, listen, I have this team. All right, they're my buddies. Some of them are retired. They have this huge network. They're gonna volunteer, help you out, advise you, do all this other stuff. You, your team, build you up. They're gonna put in money. They're basically, I have a team working for you, even though I invested with you. That's a whole nother thing on the spectrum. So think about it. You had okay, I'm gonna micromanage you in something I have no idea about, and then waste your time and then call you and ask you to text me every 5 minutes to, hey, I'm on your team. I'm going to go out fundraise. I'm going to go out to my network that's been built over 20 years. We're going to get meetings lined up for you. We're going to get everything lined up for you. So quick question for you, Joe. If I were to give you money, which of those do you want?
Well, I want the one that's going to help me build the business with their network and actually contribute to the success of the business, not the one that's going to micromanage me. But what I'm hearing is kind of interesting. It's kind of like defining your target market, maybe defining your target investor. What kind of investor do you want? Is that what you're kind of alluding to?
Joe, I think you nailed it right there, which not all investors are good investors, just like all customers aren't good customers. I mean, you don't want that one customer that takes up 80% of your time and gets you 20% of your money. You want that customer 20% of your time, 80% of your money. Investors the same way. A lot of people think that guy's writing a check. Thank God I need that money, but they don't see all the strings behind it. And they don't see that, well, if they just waited for somebody else, a different opportunity, built up their company a little bit more, increased the revenue, added that valuation, they could have gone to a different, or maybe with that same investor, negotiate for better terms.
So what I'm hearing is kind of like, why don't you define your ideal investor and then define what your ideal investor is looking for and build the company to be what that ideal investor is looking for, and then you'll find them, and then you'll grow according to the way you want to grow to hit your goals and objectives. Is that kind of what I'm hearing?
You're hearing correctly. And pro tip for people out there, building that company, that investor, that what most people don't realize is that investors actually have an investment thesis, most of them. So even angels say, listen, I will only invest in companies that are maybe this geographic area, that have these milestones, such as this much annual revenue, or they have this many patents or something like that. They have an idea in their head of what they'll invest in. VCs and that have gone out and raised capital, they have their thesis that they raised the capital on. I will deploy this much, this normal check size, over this span of time to this many companies that are in this sector that have these. A lot of things are more defined than people just kind of guess. People think, well, if I pitch, they'll pay or they'll invest. When reality is, hey, I'm advertising, I'm marketing what I'm doing, but that person on the other side of the table already has what they're looking for in their mind. So yeah, when you're saying build that company for that investor and have that vision of what that investor is, I mean, they're there. They're there for you.
And you could go actually find out what the different investors are looking for by identifying the different investors and looking through what are they looking for.
Joe, that almost sounds like a topic for another segment. What are investors looking for? But
I think we should do that at our next segment.